When I first found out I was Teacher of the Year, I was in utter shock. All I remember is I was in the middle of teaching math and I looked up and I saw the entire committee walking through the doorway of my classroom, and judging by the pitter-patter of my feet, because I was wearing jelly shoes in the YouTube video, I mean, no words could, take the place of the excitement I felt inside. I was speechless, and for those who know me, that's a pretty big feat.
Today I'm here representing Kappa chapter of Alpha Delta Kappa. Kappa chapter is very pleased to have this celebration on a yearly basis for our Teacher of the Year. One of our missions is to recognize educational excellence, and we are here today, I know, to recognize an excellent teacher in Mary Almeida. Kappa chapter of Alpha Delta Kappa. I just want to tell you a little bit about the significance of that. Alpha Delta Kappa is an international organization of women educators. There are approximately 1,200 chapters all across the United States, in Canada, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and even Australia. I am one of 33,000 members internationally of Alpha Delta Kappa, all outstanding women educators. And right now what I'd like to do is ask all of my Alpha Delta Kappa Kappa members who are here present to stand so we can recognize you. These are the ladies who are putting on this reception this afternoon. And I thank you all for being here in attendance. We have some special guests here with us today. I would like to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jeff Schuman, and thank you very much for attending. Also a member of the Cabinet, Guy Barassa, who takes care of the technology. And we also, and Mr. Dressick just came in back there, snuck in the back, our Assistant Superintendent. Thank you very much. We did not see any members of the school board or town council come in. Did I miss anyone in trying to get organized? Because I don't want to do that. All right, thank you very much. We also have a couple of former Teachers of the Year of Enfield here. We have Guy Barassa, who's also a Teacher of the Year. We have Charlotte Zenzik, right here. And I'm happy to say I was also a Teacher of the Year at one point, so. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to ask two of the members of Kappa chapter, Charlotte Zenzik and Terry Merrick, who are our immediate past presidents, to come up and tell you a little bit more about the history of our organization, so you'll know a little bit more about who we are. Charlotte and Terry?
Good afternoon. Alpha Delta Kappa is an international honorary organization of women educators dedicated to educational excellence, altruism, and world understanding. ADK was founded in 1947 by Agnes Shipman Robertson, Maureen Neal, Marion Southall, and Hattie Papino. These women saw a need to recognize and support the professional efforts of outstanding women educators. Headquartered in Kansas City, Missouri, ADK has more than 1,400 chapters worldwide. Locally, our chapter is known as Kappa Chapter.
The installation of Kappa Chapter took place in 1973. Our first chapter president was Pat Griffin. Our local membership has supported scholarship at Assunta Community College, Enfield High School, Fermi High School, JFK Middle School, and Camp Shriver. We have also donated to a number of local programs, including the Safe Home, the Network Against Domestic Abuse, and the Alcorn After School program.
The month of October has been designated Founders Month for Alpha Delta Kappa. One way the members of ADK Kappa choose to celebrate this month is to honor an outstanding leader in education. So today we are thrilled to be able to honor Enfield's Teacher of the Year for 2014-2015, Ms. Mary Almeida.
Well, once the committee had made a decision, they reported to Dr. Schumann, and Dr. Schumann, Chris Trezek, Guy Barassa, they all came down with my principal and some of the other teachers and came into my room. And the best part about it was when Guy Barassa went around the room and asked for one word to describe me. And my favorite was when my kids said sarcastic, because I felt like they really understood who I was, you know. I'm an extremely sarcastic person. I think you need to approach things with humor, because if you don't have that, you know, good sense of humor, a good personality in the classroom, the kids are going to have a hard time connecting to you, and I think that's the most important thing. I like to be silly. I think that every teacher needs to be slightly immature because you have to know your population. I think that once a kid is comfortable with you as a person, only then are they going to be willing to learn from you.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce Kelly Pellegrini, who is going to tell you a little bit more about Mary, our guest of honor today.
Okay, Mary is a colleague of mine, and as I look around the room, I see many of our colleagues from school, our friends from Hazardville, and some past and present, and our leaders and supporters in town here, and her family. This is wonderful. I wanted to think about something special that I haven't already said about Mary, but I thought I would quote from Dr. Rita Pierson. She's given a TED Talk, one of those TED Talk things, and she said, "Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection, and insists that they become the best they can possibly be." And I think that speaks for Mary. Many times, she definitely is a champion of her kids. Each of your students knows you believe in them. You can see this just by the way you praise them, recognize them, and point out the positives that they're doing. Each of your students, and even their families, have a powerful connection with you, even long past their first grade year. Almost as if every student is saying, "She's here to teach me today. I'm special." Each of your students' strengths and exceptionalities are taken into account, while you hold them to still high standards as you do yourself. And I wanted to say one more thing before I let Mary speak. Dr. Rita Pierson also had another really awesome quote. "Learning sometimes occurs because someone insists that you recognize the excellence in yourself." So we want to thank you for recognizing the excellence in your students and letting us recognize the excellence in you. Mary. Our friend and colleague, Mary Almeida.
Jeez, Kelly. Gonna make me tear right now. No. Really? Well, I am very lucky to work with some amazing people and sharing sentiments like that. So thank you so much. It makes this job even better. I thought I'd start off a little bit with why I became a teacher, because I think you always need to know the drive behind a person's motives. So when I was a child, my father lived by the mantra, "Give more than you have." Now, money is the easiest and fastest exchange, but it makes the smallest difference. Time, compassion, and goodwill all have a much longer lasting impact on one's soul. Growing up as a priest's daughter, it was not uncommon to have people knock on the rectory's door looking for help. I watched my father take food from our pantry and clothes from our closets so people wouldn't go without. He consoled the grieving through loss and became an extended member of countless families. He puts others before himself. The greatest person I've ever known is my father, and he's my inspiration and who I aspire to be. Love you, Dad. So, Vincent van Gogh once said, "Your profession is not what brings home your weekly paycheck. Your profession is what you're put here on earth to do, with such passion and such intensity that it becomes spiritual and calling." Like my father, who can recount his calling to priesthood at age 5, there has never been a doubt in my mind that I would work with children. The unbiased curiosity of a child is nearly impossible to portend or contain. They are on a constant quest of discovery. I feel proud knowing that I can help navigate them on their journey to becoming a lifelong learner. A teacher's pedagogy is much like the content we present to our learners within our classrooms. Once applied in independent practice, something that was once nearly identical is altered through individual growth and exploration. I anticipate that as education evolves, so will my professional beliefs. It will continuously shift and grow so that it can meet the next generation of learners. Gail Goodwin said, "Teaching is 1/4 preparation and 3/4 theater." For those of you who know me, I have no problem with being dramatic. Our students aren't the only ones who need to perform. Like actors, we must look towards our audience, marrying our pedagogy to the content. With that in mind, I believe it is the interplay between method, medium, and the lessons objective collectively that make one's teaching practices well-rounded and accessible to each learner within a community. It is truly the teacher's choice in how we choose to convey information that fosters student understanding. Our methods must be the mouthpiece. Like snowflakes and fingerprints, each student is unique. The importance of higher order thinking skills cannot be predicated nor classified by ability. Years ago, one of my students drew this picture. It says, "Miss Almeida is a rock star." We must always be cognizant of students' vantage points and keep them in the forefront of our thinking when planning. They look to us for guidance, acceptance, and understanding. Learning is meant to be collaborative and reciprocal. If we want our students to inquire, explore, and co-construct their conceptual understanding, it is prudent that we create classrooms of leaders. The connotation most often associated with this word is one who manages, controls, or dominates, but leadership has also been defined as a process of social influence in which one person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task. Leadership in a classroom is not about the delegation of menial jobs, but rather having the determination, tenacity, and drive to guide others in achieving a like goal, while also understanding that there can be many pathways to leading to it. I have a fervent belief that incorporating new literacies into Stoic teaching practices will not elicit student performance. Primary teachers must pioneer that incorporation of new literacies into daily classroom practices without inundating emerging learners who are just beginning to apply skills traditionally. In order to accomplish this, instructional models must be dyadic, merging strategies introduced and practiced using traditional text with digital resources. Within these flexible learning environments, individual strengths will emerge. Leaders can shine in many facets. We must offer varied opportunities in order to highlight each student's strength. Teaching for me isn't about being selfless. In fact, it's quite the contrary. Teaching to me is about being selfish. I've been fortunate enough to work with over 200 children thus far. Though seemingly small in number, collectively there's power. With each proximal goal met, student self-efficacy is increased. Like Midas with gold, one student will never be enough. I want more. So thank you.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow. I think we owe this lady a rousing ovation.
Being Teacher of the Year has always been a goal of mine. I have like a professional bucket list, you could say. And whereas it's not the most important thing to me, because the most important thing is just being an effective teacher to my kids. I just want them to always remember first grade. But I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty awesome second place. It's an honor, and I think that there are some phenomenal teachers in district, so to be recognized by my peers was something I never expected, but it's a very humbling moment.
That was wonderful. It's my pleasure now to introduce Meredith Bronson-Neiman, who is going to present the plaque to Mary.
I'm so shy. I can stand in front of kids, but...
Okay. It's been a tradition for ADK to have a plaque in the school of the Teacher of the Year. And so it's my pleasure to present this to Mary Almeida, which will hang in our school for the entire school year. And so, Mary, this is for you. It's well deserved.
Thank you. It's so cool to see all the different people who won. Oh, there's some awesome teachers on there. I've had a few.
Mary, would you like to do a formal introduction of some special guests that you have here today, since we don't know everyone? I know that you mentioned your dad, but I saw other people come in.
Oh, I can if you
Yes,
want.
please, let us know.
Well, there's so many awesome people from the staff of Hazardville here. I'm looking up and I can't believe you guys all came. Thank you so much. So the staff of HMS and my former principal right there, ACB, or Mrs. Cox Blackwell, I'm sorry. But you know, ACB, it's a term of endearment. It just shows what kind of connection you have, right? I have one of my childhood best friends and her mom, you know, who's always been a cheerleader. And then my dad over here, you know, he's the male version of me, and I'm really sorry for that, guys. And then she's like my mom. I call her, you know, she's like my aunt. This is Sandy Phillips. So thank you guys for all coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are very pleased that you all joined us today as well. It's our pleasure to honor Mary. We know that she's going to represent Enfield well over the course of this year, and we congratulate you. It's a well-deserved honor from everything that I hear. Now what we'd like you to do is to join us for some refreshments and to socialize and to congratulate Mary and just enjoy the afternoon. So thank you very, very much for coming. I did hear that perhaps one other person entered the room that we should recognize, and that might be Mrs. McKiernan. Did she sneak in here somewhere? Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you very, very much. Please enjoy the refreshments and please congratulate Mary on her well-deserved honor. Thank you so much.
To encourage other teachers to excel, I might say accept your faults, recognize them, and figure out a way to improve upon them. I always said that if I ever become complacent in my grade level, then it would be time for me to reevaluate and see where I could become more effective. I think that constantly evolving is crucial because our learners are constantly growing and changing to meet the times. Just in closing, I'm just so thankful that I was recognized by my peers. I work with an amazing community of practitioners, and coming back to my roots, I grew up in Enfield. It's an amazing feeling to know that I get to give back what others have given to me. And I had some great teachers. I believe in Enfield. I think we're a great school system. And Hazardville Memorial's awesome. It's my home. I'm here more than I am at my house.